Coach David here, your host of the Beyond Athlete podcast. And today we have another very special guest. He's a friend, he's a brother. We've spoken quite a few times. First time actually sitting down or even just meeting up to have a conversation is on the podcast, which is amazing. This gentleman obviously is a writer, a creative in his own right, working within the intersection of sports culture. He's an artist as well. So when I say creative, I mean all things creative. Currently is building his creative studio, I believe.
Yeah.
What's your? I'll say it. I want to say it, but let me get you into the conversation as well. What's your creative studio called?
GoodVillains.
GoodVillains.
Yeah,
GoodVillains.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're gonna have a conversation today around sports culture, his upbringing, his story as well, and kind of tie those two together. Hope you guys enjoy it. Obviously, like I always say, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment and ask questions and take notes from this episode. And before I even go into the conversation, I would like to introduce you all to Kieran Kenlock.
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm really privileged to be here, man.
We made this happen in like less than 24 hours as
I know. Obviously, like my brother hit me up the other day and was like, yo, you know what? You should go on Coach David's podcast. And I was like, yeah, I'm down for that. I didn't expect you to hit me up so quickly, but
100%.
You know, when the fire's burning, you got to strike hot. So, I'm really privileged to be here. Really grateful to be here, bro. So
great to have you too. Great to have you too. I'm gonna start off with what I usually start off with all my guests, the beginning. Young Kieran, what were you doing during that time that's kind of led you, or you feel has led you to your creative journey now?
It's so funny that you asked that, and I probably don't even know where to begin, because I feel like my creative journey started officially after a life that I lived before I had now. Do you know what I mean? But I guess my first like introduction into creativity would have been when I was really young. And the wildest thing, I told this story the other day, the wildest thing about what I do now, it wasn't actually the thing that I was good at when I was younger. So I'm a writer by trade. I work in the creative industry. I tell stories. I'm a storyteller. But when I was really, really young, I couldn't put two sentences together. My mum sent me like my school report from back in the day. And on the English part, it was like, Kieran needs to work on sentence structure and understand what words mean and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, it's come a long way. It's quite ironic, to be fair, but the story I was going to tell was the first time that everything came together. I think I might have been about maybe 8 or 9, and I got set an English essay to write, creative writing over the weekend. And me, I'm a procrastinator. I've always been a procrastinator when I was little, and even to this day. And I was waiting until Sunday to do the work, and my mum's like, what is in the room? Describe what you see. What can you touch? What can you feel? And I went upstairs and I started writing this story. And I think like the first line was like, once upon a time in Alabama, don't ask me why. There was nothing in sight, only a tumbleweed rolled across the road. And I went on to write this story about like this town with a cowboy, and can't remember how it finished, but I handed it in, and I think like later on in that week, after obviously the books had been marked and whatever, the teacher was handing out all of the books, and she never gave back mine. And she stood in front of the classroom and she was basically like, guys, I want to read you like an exceptional story. And that was the first moment for me where I was like, oh wow, like I might have something here. But then I would say like storytelling never really came into my life as often because of the route that I chose after secondary school. I'd say there were some moments, I guess, like GCSE drama and doing dramas at school, and like English lit, or English lessons. To be fair, I've got a friend who always reminds me about, again, a story to do with homework that I didn't do on time. Came into school, and we had to write a poem, and part of the work was that you had to like read the poem out to everybody else in the classroom. And it was the first period. I didn't have time to write it, so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna improvise. And I went into that classroom, and I like improvised this piece called "Don't You Hate It," and it was basically all the things that I hated doing when like coming to school, waking up, going into the fridge, and there not being any milk to go with your cereal, and I just dramatized the whole thing, and it literally like it worked, and I got an A, and whatever came from that, I got it. But it was more just like being able to, like touch people with the way that I use the words in it. So that was like my first interaction with like storytelling, and believing that I had something within me to do it. Yeah.
To be honest with you, just from you saying that, I've already got like a few ideas that I want to try out after this as well.
Oh man,
for storytelling. So that's quite
Okay.
good. I like the fact that your mum actually showed you to do that, and you kind of like just ran with it.
Yeah.
Because even when you said it to me, it sounds so practical that it's something that anyone can kind of pick up as well, which is quite cool.
Right.
So what's your relationship with sports then? Because I know, obviously, this is me based off research, based on me following you for a while.
Yeah.
I know that you are connected to sports even now with quite a few people that you know as well in that space. So what's your connection always been to sport? I know your brothers play football as well. I don't know if you used to play football as well.
Yeah, man. Like I come from a sporting like family. When I say family, just like my immediate family. All my brothers play football, but I'm the oldest of four, so I had to kind of set pace. Funnily enough, the first sport that I actually like took to and enjoyed was gymnastics.
Okay, cool.
I was a gymnast for about like
That's mad.
4 years, 5 years, throughout primary school up until like year 10, not year 10, until I was about 10 years old. And but then like my main sport that I played, and what I feel like everybody came to know me as, was football. You know, I played football. I started quite late in the grand scheme of like when young people start to play football, you know. And I remember the first time that I saw people playing, I was like, I want to do that. That looks fun, you know. But so I started playing football when I was about 11, and I didn't really play for a team until I was 12. But by the time I was 13, I got scouted for Crystal Palace. Okay. And then I played through their academy system from 13, 14, 15, 16. Got given a scholarship. Played there. So full-time training, the whole institution and the whole like rigmarole of becoming a footballer started to become real. And yeah, I was part of their youth team, played with some amazing talented players across the years that I was there. Was in the same youth team as like Victor Moses, Sean Scannell, Wilfried, Zaha, Nathaniel Klein, Johnny Williams played as well, and there's loads more that I could mention. Kieran Jalali, Hakeem Adelakan, James Comley, Nathaniel Pinney, like the list goes on. We had a really, really good side, you know. And that's my relationship with sport. Like I played football for a very, very long time. It became an identity for me. And I learned a lot, you know. I learned a lot whilst I was there. And I carry a lot of the lessons that I learned from that time into the things that I do today. Do you know what I'm saying?
And obviously going into that, because that was going to be my next question as well. How have you kind of like seamlessly kind of joined both worlds together?
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's been a seamless journey, but I would say that like one naturally feeds the other. And there's loads of different ways that I can potentially take it to kind of explain or articulate how that is. But I can probably just go from, I guess, being released from Palace when I was 18, and going to university. I went to Loughborough University, and at the time I wasn't really enjoying the space I was in.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to and listen to the names that I used to play football with, some of them went on to be really successful, and like going from that space of being in that environment where I'm training every day to then having to go into like full-time education and be up for lectures at 9 o'clock. I was like,
so you didn't play any sports at Loughborough because obviously it's a sports.
I did. But like, I'll be
university.
honest with you, I never really took it as serious as when I was playing it at that level. And also, like, I feel like when you come out of that environment of just like competitive football or competitive, like being a competitive athlete and training at that level, like you really have to want it. You know what I mean? 100%. But I was really disheartened by not getting a professional contract. And then obviously there were some things that happened during that summer when I was chasing to get another contract, but it kind of just left a bitter taste in my mouth. I fell out of love with football, man, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy the experience of being at university. Probably a little bit too much, to be honest with you, my brother. But yeah, I was a little bit like, I say this and I'm like, sorry, I say that and I was a little bit depressed, to be honest with you, in my first 2 years, but I didn't really know that I was, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I found words again. You know what I mean? Like, I came from an environment where you don't necessarily talk about the things that are bothering you. You have to walk around with this bravado of like toughness, and you kind of like, you're in a hyper masculine environment. Everybody's like pitted against each other, even though you're teammates. We all know that we're fighting for this contract, and any step outside of the norm will make you an outcast or someone that they can pick on, or someone that anybody can pick on, you know what I'm saying? So like, you come out of that space and you don't know how to like process your emotions. You don't know what you're actually going through. And for me, without knowing, the words were like therapy for me. And so I would talk about how I was feeling at the time. I got introduced to a guy called Ash, who was making music, and he helped me like kind of make sense of just like going to a studio, recording a song, putting down emotions through words, and that would really help me get through the time when I was there. Naturally, whilst you're a student, you don't really make much money. So I had to find a job, and my first job was actually in London. So I would travel every weekend from Loughborough to London to work at Nike Town London at the time. And I think that was like a real eye-opener into the world that I currently am in now. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity to meet people from all over London who were hella talented, that had loads of different sorts of visions and ambitions. And that kind of affected me in a way where I was now being introduced to people that had a world outside of football, even though like we are now just like brought together by the swoosh, by Nike. And my time there is what kind of got me into understanding that there was like another world outside of like actually playing sport. Do you know what I'm saying? So I used to work on the customer service desk, which was probably the best job in the building. Shout out to all the people that used to work at Nike Town London, man. But there was a lot of people that would come in and get their discount from us on that desk, and they would work for agencies, creative agencies that I didn't know existed. I didn't know who they were. All I had was a booklet with names, their job title, and how much discount they were getting. So there were people coming in from Wider Than Kennedy or AKQA, and they had like,
that's dope, man.
job titles for like, it really was dope, bro. It really was dope. But they had like job titles that was like executive producer, project manager, creative director, strategist, this and that. And like I'd never heard of those terms in my life before, but the curiosity in me was, okay, how do I get into the positions that they're in? Because they'd come in wearing the flyest garms, bro, and they were getting 40%, 30% off. I don't know if I should be saying that, but it's whatever. They were getting discount, innit? And I would question them. I would literally just be like, yo, like, what do you do? You work for Nike? And they would tell me like what they would do. I would search their job titles. I would search their companies, and I'd be like, I really want to work for these people. I want to work in this space. I didn't even know what the creative industry was, to be honest. Later on, I found out that they were the people that were responsible for the adverts and the marketing behind all of the great stories that I would have seen. So even to go back to your original question, like, what was my journey into, or my first interaction with creativity? It would have been adverts. It would have been like your Nike Scorpion advert. It would have been the Nike 98 World Cup advert with the Brazil with Brazil team in the airport. It would have been R9 when he first had the mercurials. Do you know what I mean? Like those images like are seared into my brain. But I thought it was just Nike that made those things. I didn't know there was a whole team and a whole production and a whole different organism away from what I knew football to be that worked in those spaces. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I worked at Nike for a long time. Long time. When I say long time, in the grand scheme of things, it was like 3-4 years. But yeah, I kept on asking people how to get into that space, and naturally, you don't just make a move from retail into corporate, and I didn't necessarily get the help that I needed to make that progression,
which is normal.
Yeah, and I got really frustrated, bro. When I say I got frustrated, I got really frustrated to the point where I left. Like I left the company, and I was like, do you know what? Like, if I'm going to make, or if I'm going to be able to go into those spaces, I've got to think laterally. I've got to do something that's completely a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I went into, like, funnily enough, I worked for the council for a little bit, for like 3 months. And during that time, I had a radio show in Northwest London. I had this opportunity to write boot reviews for Soccer Bible.
Okay, cool.
Through a contact that I met working at Nike Town London. Because I pestered him. Like, I was like, bro, like, you always have these dope boots on your Instagram. How do you do it? And then when he moved away from his job and set up his own company, he introduced me to the guy that like ran Soccer Bible. And yeah, they gave me a trial to write a boot review, sent me a few boots. I tried them. This is when I was still playing. And yeah, they loved it. They went out on their magazine and stuff like that. So I was doing that. I was also, I had the radio show. I was doing online content, and I was playing part-time, working part-time at Nike. So I was juggling a lot of things, you know. And whilst I was at the council, one day this guy calls me and he's like, yo, we've got a job role that comes up, because he'd seen my profile on LinkedIn, and he said it was for a company called RGA, and I'd never heard of RGA. I didn't know what it was, but he told me it was a digital agency. Still didn't really know the like context, or like had no idea. And then they asked me to come in for a interview, which obviously I went to, and when I got there, it was like this glass building. I was like, this is mad, bro. Like, what's going on here? And I met the guys that were taking the interview, and they put me in a room similar to this, a little bit smaller, and they were basically like, okay, so we've got a brief and we want to see how you'd approach this brief. And the brief was like about this football team who were like trying to, it was based on a football team where young players are trying to get into academies again. I was like, this is my life, bro. You know what I mean? And it turns out like the job was for the Nike Academy. And I was like, rah, this is my job. Like,
Mm.
you know, when you go somewhere and you're like, this is destined.
Mm.
I sat in there and I was like, I better get this job because I'm the perfect person for
Yeah,
this
yeah,
job.
yeah.
So that was how I came into the
That's
world
mad,
of
though.
creativity, man. Through sport.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
I
That's
spoke
dope.
for a little while there. Sorry.
No,
but
that was good. That was good
yeah.
because a lot of stuff you said, yeah, and thank you for sharing as well. But a lot of
Yeah.
stuff you said was pretty much relevant to me. So when you talked about the advertising side, I can't remember what year, but when I went to uni initially, I never actually finished, but I wanted to study advertising.
All right.
Advertising was always my thing. I think even now, like a lot of my ideas, like production ideas, the way I edit and stuff like that, is based around just me loving advertising.
Yeah.
And I did one thing. I wrote. This times I didn't know how to approach people, but I did the same thing that you did, like speak to people, find out where they're working, what they do, and stuff like that. But I wrote to maybe about 50 or 60 agencies in London.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and there was only one that got back to me, but then the one that got back to me was a boutique one, so I wasn't really interested. But a lot of all other ones never got back to me. I even went there with like an envelope and put in why I think I could work here.
That's dope,
and
bro.
stuff like that.
You
But
only
never-
need one though.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You only need one.
yeah, yeah. So, but then fast forward later on the train, randomly I ended up meeting is it Riz Hamid?
Riz Ahmed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AKQA.
Oh, Riz Ahmed. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you said Riz Ahmed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not the actor.
No. I think that's his name. Yeah, AKQA founder.
Wow.
Just on the train on Central Line, and we just got talking. Ended
Amazing.
up coming to see him. He gave me two of his books, or one of his books. Read it. It was very cool. I know after that we never really spoke again. He was quite busy. To be honest with you, now would be a good time because I can just get him on the podcast anyway.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Definitely reach out
But-
to him.
But that world has always been something that I've always really enjoyed,
Mm.
and I think that's why when I started Basketball Nation and obviously started doing all the sports stuff, it allowed me to kind of like work with brands and really reach out to brands. Even though I don't work with a lot of brands now, but I'm contacting them because I know eventually, years time, 2 years time, something will come out of it.
100%.
But a lot of the stuff that I learned has been through just the way I've approached sports as well. So even things like working as a team, being a good decision maker, being a leader, thinking community, always creating like in the midst of pressure, all the sort of things has come from sports. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, obviously how it's kind of tied in as well. And obviously you finding out about Wyden and Kennedy one. Listen, I've done mad research on those people. I've watched all the documentaries, how they started, everything. And it's quite interesting. There is one question I wanted to ask though. Because I know a lot of young guys and girls will watch this and they'll be like, why did you, what is it that you think you missed that didn't get you further at the age of 18 in football that Chris Palace had to drop you?
Wow, man, that's a real question, and I don't think I would have been able to answer it with the maturity that I have now if you had asked me maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I think I carried it for a very long time that it was like someone else's fault. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there were like moments where you could potentially look at it and be like, oh no, but you probably did not deserve. You played well enough to like warrant something, or at least to have a look. And at the time, Palace were going through a lot of like different structural problems, financial problems. We had like 2 different managers in like the space of maybe 3 or 4 months or whatever. But looking back now, I don't think I understood what it meant to be a professional. Do you know what I mean? Like when I look at professional athletes now, when I look at what it takes to become a professional athlete, the best of the best, there's a lot more sacrifice than you think you can actually give. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just about showing up and doing the work. It's about doing the extra work.
Yeah.
It's about taking the professional steps in order for you to become a professional player. And I think a lot of what I was doing, or the way that I saw the game at the time and the pathway towards the first team, I didn't actually know what it meant to be professional. Like, when you're an athlete, your body is literally your what can I say? It's your I don't want to say tool, but
I know I was gonna say tool as
do you
well.
know what I mean? But it's the thing that you have to look after the most. Your the things you eat, the way that you prepare, the way that you recover, the way that you like, are you obsessed with the game? Like, I loved football, bro, but like, what was I going to go and watch like tapes and tapes of players? Am I gonna go and study players that play in my position? Am I gonna go and look deeper into how players play in different formations? How did this right back look at the options that were in front of him when they were playing? So like, with maturity now, looking back, I probably, like, and it's not because I didn't try hard enough, I just didn't potentially have the tools in order to help me get through those moments, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I always think that a lot of the young people, a lot of young athletes, should I say, they always blame someone else for something. But sometimes, obviously, it's also someone else's fault.
Sometimes.
But it's also good to do a self-reflection as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that age we don't ever do.
It took me a long time to get there, my brother. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna sit here in front and say that I didn't blame people for the reason for me not getting a professional contract. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in my corner that might even say that about the situation. Do you know what I'm saying? But in hindsight, if I look back and look at how I prepared for things, or the way that I also took on information, or even disseminated information, or how I reacted to certain things within a game, then I can find the reasons. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's very interesting. My next question is around, I want to kind of like dive into the storytelling side of things. Because for me, storytelling has always been quite a big thing for me. Like, as much as I did a podcast, I run the Basketball Nation, which is the basketball community, which is now becoming, it's almost like a media hub for sports as well.
Amazing, bro.
And then Nation Sports Association, which is a multi-sports sports association, where initially we didn't know what we were going to do with it, but now it's like it's a lot more clearer that we just really build a whole ecosystem, grassroots ecosystem, and really make noise with that. Like, not just in the UK, but eventually globally as well. And not really, not trying to look at, let's be in the limelight, but really and truly, let's make a difference in grassroots, and bring them under our umbrella, and all of us just work together and create like a massive ecosystem of sports, basically. So, but then storytelling is such a big part of it, because amongst all those things, I've always wanted to do a lot of like documentaries, short films. I'm a big anime lover. I already have like a 7-episode script ready for an anime. Yeah, I want to do 10 episodes. Amazing. I've got 3 more to do, that I actually want to do.
Sport related.
Okay. Big anime, Naruto, all those things. That's me. So I wanted to kind of like bring the things that I love into sports, basically, because they all still apply. Like, and this is not me being geeky, but like when you watch Naruto, Underdog Story, someone that no one believed in, but he just ended up building himself, and still all he was thinking about was, how do I help my community? How do I help the people around me, regardless if they love me or not, basically. So same way in sports, as an athlete, how do you have that same mindset where you may be hated like a Michael Jordan, quote unquote, but you're still leading in the sense that you make sure that everyone else around you wins. If people don't want to stick around, they don't stick around, basically. And just kind of bring that mindset into that space. So in terms of like storytelling, how important is it for you for amplifying voices and communities that don't really get the spotlight, and how can sports also be a catalyst for that?
I think number one is really important. For me, when it comes to storytelling, or the way that I try to tell stories, is always from a viewpoint of the stories that have never been told before, or the voice of people that don't have the words to articulate the feelings that they have. So when I think about that question in particular, it goes back to a film that I helped bring together, I wrote and voiced, called Chasing Shadows, which is about my experience as a young footballer.
Okay.
Through the academy system, but in releasing that, you start to see what it does for other people, and how important it was to share a story that people can resonate with. I think the reason why you want to tell stories for people and communities that don't necessarily have a voice is because those are ones that are going to connect and run deeper, because they come from truth. Communities always come towards what's authentic and what's true. And for me, like, whenever I'm trying to tell a story or share parts of whatever I'm trying to put out or create, it always has to come from a place of feeling and a place of honesty. And that's how good stories last forever. Do you know what I'm saying? There's always some point of truth that exists in those. So yeah, and you know, like, it's one thing for going to your community perspective. It's one thing brands doing stuff for communities, but like, you can't just do the whole, like, you can't just signpost for a community. You can't just like, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna build this community center but do nothing for the community, or I'm gonna put up this billboard in the community but not actually work with the community to help the community grow. And I think, like, sharing stories from a perspective of the unheard and actually working with those people is really important to telling the stories that are important, you know.
Yeah. I think it's so key, because how can I put this now? A lot of people always do forget about this on one side here. That's your brother, you know.
Is it my bro?
Yeah.
You're joking. Oh no.
Oh, by the way, you can come into the camera. It's
This
fine,
is
yeah.
crazy.
It's part of the recording, innit?
This is crazy. Oh my god. Come here, man. What you
What
say,
you
bro?
telling me,
You
bro?
good? Yeah, man. I didn't know he was coming today.
What do you mean?
Hey.
Yeah, I did tell her.
I was even going to message you saying, tell him, bro.
Yeah, it's
My
cool.
bro's here.
That's it.
Oh man, I'm gassed, you know.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror.
I know.
You know, for years we used to deny it.
I know.
You can't deny
He's
it.
twinning, man. Oh man, that is a moment.
Oh,
Thank
by
you,
the way,
my bro.
you can sit anywhere here as well, though.
Thank you.
You
That
can
was that's
you
a
can move
moment.
my bag, just put it to the side there.
My favorite person in the world, you know. Oh, good.
Yeah. Because I wanted to do it like this because I like podcasts to be very natural,
Organic.
like not like so stuck up.
Tell you, don't tell him.
Yeah. Nah.
I even forgot to be like, yo, I was on the way.
I know,
Like,
right?
do you know what I mean?
You told me at like probably like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Alright, so no.
Just going back to the conversation.
Yeah.
So obviously for myself, like, community has always been key, and giving voices to those that don't have it has always been quite important, because I was the same. I've been in the same space,
Of course.
where I always say this all the time. I was always the last person to get picked on the basketball team or anything to do with sports. I was always the person that maybe sometimes, like, people may not pick for certain things. So I said, you know what, like, I'm just gonna, like, create my own space and create a platform for those that don't really get that as well, to be able to use that platform to amplify their own voices as well. So that's why I always say, like, even like with the podcast with Basketball Nation, like, it's not my platform, it's the platform for the community to use. So when it comes to, like, now I want to start doing women's basketball sessions and build that into something else. It doesn't have to be me that's doing it. There's women in the community that been wanting to do that, but they just don't have the resources or the platform or the team around them. So now we can both collab. So it's always a collaboration with the community to actually create things as well. even with the magazine that I'm currently doing now, W Sports, which is hopefully launching November this year.
Congrats,
for the
bro.
first edition.
Congrats.
It's all about amplifying voices that we don't hear about. Some of those voices are popular voices as well. We just don't maybe hear them so much as well. So it's really amplifying those as well.
Do you know what, like, on that point as well, I do feel like the stories that we hear within the media is always probably like the best of the best. So like you hear about like the athletes that go all the way through.
Yeah.
But they're really like the 0.012%.
Yeah.
Especially if you're talking about a sport like football, right? But really and truly, there's so many more stories from those that don't necessarily make it that far. Yeah. And those stories are probably way more universal to the wider world and the wider public. Yes, obviously, you can have aspirational stories for the people that are on the other side of that. But I feel like for stories to really resonate, sometimes you got to go down to the grassroots. You got to go and work your way through it to understand, like, okay, this is someone that's just like me. Yes, they might have had a dream or a goal or an aspiration to go and like make something for themselves in a particular sport or a particular field. But the most interesting thing sometimes is understanding how people pivot. Do you know what I mean? And like, not many people get to hear that story because they think that the one way is the only way, when in actual fact there's millions of ways in which you can be successful and go and like make something of yourself.
Yeah,
you know
100%. Like I have these two young guys. Started up. Well, they had a football agency managing young football players, but they ran into a lot of like just stuff that would just happen to them that blindsided them. Maybe like another experienced agent might kind of like block them from something or blindside them with an athlete, and it was kind of like frustrating for them. But rather than them saying, okay, cool, I'm just gonna give up this thing, just like work and stuff like that, what they did is that they actually, like you said, made a pivot and said, you know what, let's step away from the football agency side, but now let's really work within the young football players, like create a platform for them to showcase their talent and kind of build a community around that, kind of build visibility around that, kind of create a new narrative to what they've been doing. And then now you see them, they've got this platform, the Talent Hunter. They've got like 12k plus followers within a short period of time compared to when they were doing before. A lot of teams are contacting them. You have Crystal Palace that contacted them recently to play an under 14 game against them. They won 2-0.
Crazy. Their
goalkeeper now, obviously, is now getting trials with Crystal Palace. So they're creating those opportunities now. They're not really saying, okay, cool, I'm going to make money right now. All that stuff will happen, but the fact that they're helping young people will pay them off. Anything that is to do with young people and job creation will always be profitable. It may not be straight away, but later on.
100%.
But not thinking about that, but you're just really making sure that those guys are good, basically, because they've been through the system before already.
I think, and I think like if you start anything with good intention, like success comes from it. All it takes is like consistency.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And those guys having an experience of loss and grief, like call it what it is, of like losing out on those things, they're able to now like think about, okay, what did I need in those moments in order to make myself, if I was in that position again, be successful. And that's why the thing that they're doing is being able to like 12,000 followers or 12,000 people. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of like people and lives that they're helping and supporting. Do you know what I mean? And that doesn't come without loss or lessons. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's really dope, man.
Okay, my next question is around culture, creativity. What have you learned about building narratives that connect with both communities, especially a lot of big brands? Obviously, you spoke about Nike and Nike Academy. Like, what sort of what have you learned around building those narratives, working with those two sort of sides, basically, over the years?
over the years, what have I learned about building narratives? I'd say like the most impactful narratives are ones that have a human truth attached to it, and ones that people can see themselves in. All you have to do is look at some of the even if it is sport and advertising, the ones that perform the best are the ones that have like a human truth that runs through it. But even if you think about like your favorite song, your favorite artist, your favorite film, your favorite, even your favorite piece of short content, right? The reason why it connects with it, well, you connect with it, is because there's something that you see in yourself, or there's something in that is aspirational to yourself, or inspiring to yourself, you know. And I think as I've built out stories and wrote narratives and films and helped people bring campaigns to life, or helped brands bring campaigns to life, the one thing that I try to do is just like I try to get to the feels of it, try to get to the human emotion. Like I really do build stories from an emotional edge, which was why sometimes some of my stories feel like there's a little bit of pain in them, or like something that just comes from my core. Like I try to allow myself to tell stories from a position of like, okay, how do I feel about this? What would I say if I was trying to articulate, for instance, there's a film that I wrote with a friend of mine called The Therapist, and it's about a young boy who goes to a barbershop about a situation that he's having within his life, and the therapist kind of allows him to see the problem that he has is different because he's got another perspective on it. And I think the human truth in that was that men find it hard to talk about their emotions, and the one place in which we tend to do that is in a barbershop. So then it's like you've got a playground to play with, or like at least a scene, pardon the pun, to play with, and then just like work around that story. Like, how does that story play out in that space? And I think, bro, it's honestly just about like being true to whatever you're trying to say. My favorite artists, my brother's favorite artists, are people that stick to realness. Do you know what I mean? And they talk from a place of knowing, they talk from a place of understanding, and they're able to articulate it in a way that you can feel. You know what I mean? And like, I'm one of those people. I love to like pull from experience, and then pull in a little bit of like what I've seen from whatever I'm working with, and just see how those two worlds collide together. Like I've worked with, you mentioned Nike, but I've worked with like FIFA, I've worked with CAF, you know, like Central African Federation for Football, Jordan Brand, a Facebook Meta now. But like no matter what it is, there's always like a truth that connects all of those pieces of work, that then I can just like, okay, how do I move this story along? Yeah.
Amazing. Look, I do know that you guys listen to, I know your brother listens to those type of artists as well.
Yeah.
That's why I put him on to Larry June.
Yeah, I saw that. Do you know what's so funny? When he was answering that question, in my mind, I was like, he's probably thinking, that's the kind of music that my brother would listen to.
Yeah. No, but then I think I saw you at the concert, innit?
You did.
In Camden. Yeah. There's quite a few people I saw. I was like, oh wow, like you listen to Larry June.
He's like, yeah, so you're into like the underground artists that are big but nobody knows them. Literally, as he said that, I was like, yeah. He's like, that's the type of music that Kieran listens to.
Yeah. Literally.
I'm a big Larry June fan, to be fair.
Same. It's a shame that he's not performing he is performing in the UK, but Manchester, I think. But
yeah.
But not
I've seen him, and like, I mean, he puts out so much music, bro. Like, you ain't gonna miss like a concert where because you know what, he's got so much music to like perform. You don't necessarily get all of the tracks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but nah, he's a cool cat.
He's a hard worker as well, because a lot of the visuals that he brings out with his music, like I'm thinking like, when are you doing this? How are you doing it?
That's the whole consistency thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you go back through he's got to the point in his life or in his career where if you meet him now, you've got years of content that you can go back, and that just shows you like the consistency is the thing that will push you further than potentially someone with a bit of talent. Do you know what I mean? Hard work, consistency. I know those feel like cliches, but it's the truth.
No, it's cool.
Do you know what I mean? Because like you don't know when someone's gonna pick you up, but if you don't start, you might never get the opportunity that someone that has been doing their thing for a little while. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No, honestly, I want to now kind of dive into obviously the fact that you run your own studio, GoodVillains.
Yeah.
If you can give us some insights on obviously running your studio, balancing, because I know you will be getting a lot of work, but how do you balance sort of like creative, artistic vision work compared to like commercial work as well?
Yeah, man. And I should say like, GoodVillains came at a point where it was almost like a means because I had nothing. Do you know what I mean? I got made redundant in 2023 from Apple.
So you went into your natural state of being a creator.
Yeah, you know, and I think, I mean, we haven't really touched on like my career as such, but like throughout my whole career in the advertising and creative industry, it was always like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a strategist or do you want to be a creative? And I was always thinking that there's a possibility for both of these things.
Yeah, 100%.
But whilst I'm also having these conversations of like corporate world and doing all of the campaign work and advertising and marketing, I was outside like, okay, how do I have a podcast? How do I put out music? How do I make films? So I'm already split, which is why GoodVillains, the oxymoron, came about. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna set up this company and it's gonna be everything that I love to do, and whatever a brand comes and asks me for, I'll just say yes and see if I can figure it out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here bold-faced lie and say like it's been easy, bro. Like running a business is hard. Do you know what I mean? Making sure that you've got money coming in to pay your mortgage and like to live and to eat. Those are hard things, man, and it takes a lot out of you. Do you know what I mean? But to answer your question about like the pursuit of creative endeavors and also the corporate world, it's a juggling act because ultimately you need to earn money in order to live, but then also the creative in me and wanting to produce and to create whatever it is I'm creating is my lifeblood. That's the thing that keeps me going, but I can't do that without money. So you gotta like figure out, okay, cool, if I do this job for 2-3 months, then I've got enough to sort myself out, like look after whatever I need to look after, and then this money can get recycled into a creative project, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? And it really is a balancing act of okay, what's the trade-off? Like where is it? Where can you then say, okay, this is the one thing that I'm going to be doing, and now that is like, say for instance, like I know I never have to really go and work for another brand or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's time. Like right now, time is money, right? And the less time that you have to work on your business, the harder it is for your business to grow. But the time that I have to use to earn money to grow the business has to be within, like, situated within agencies or within brands and doing brand work for them. So then there's a big trade-off of the like what time I get to actually do for myself versus the time that I put in for other people. But it's the game you have to play in order, well, not in order, but before you can actually start putting realistic time into the worlds in which you want to create and the worlds you want to build, the stories you want to tell. I've got loads of ideas, bro, but like obviously to do those things, it's not cheap.
Of course,
I'm saying.
Where do you see the next? Where do you see the future of creative storytelling, especially within sports, culture, community? Where do you see it? What do you see it becoming in the future as well, especially for the next gen that maybe want to jump into that space?
Do you know what? And this is, I feel like I wish I knew when I was younger, and it might change shape already, but a lot of the next generation already know what they're doing. They're already creating, they're already making.
That's true, yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? They're already building their own brands, with intentionally or unintentionally. They're wizards on their phones. They know how to make something impactful in a very short space of time. The way that they tell stories is not the conventional way of telling stories. And I think like we're gonna shift into a world where stories are everywhere. And to coin a old IG campaign line, like, but the youngsters now, I would just say they have to. Youngsters, that sounds so old, bro. Wow.
They're still youngsters because they're younger than us, innit?
Jesus, bro, I'm an uncle now, man. No, but what I would say is that like, but we're already in the future, man.
Yeah,
like
true.
we are literally in the future right now. But I would say it's consistency. Like you just have. That is the one thing. If you start, you just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not about getting disheartened. It's not about watching other people. It's about like sticking to your own, like, vision, plan, desire, fire in your belly type thing, and just go, this is the thing that I want to do, and keep moving. I think we'll probably start getting into, because what I would say is actually like stories at the moment, there's like everyone's got a platform in it, and everybody wants to talk and everybody wants to say something, and the ones that are going to be able to cut through are the ones that like resonate. So it's like, if there's a human truth to it, if there's like some sort of humor, if there's something that like resonates with people, those are the stories that are going to continue to grow. And like I feel like the next generation of storytellers are really going to start digging into like who we are as people as well, like just coming at it from like a holistic like black community as well. Like there's not a lot of stories from our community that tell our stories properly. And even if you look into the world of like TV in the UK and stuff like that, and even internationally, like our representation isn't necessarily there. And I feel like what you're seeing now is a proliferation of young talented black filmmakers, creators, artists, all of those people that are like pushing the narrative forward, claiming back their narratives and telling the stories that they want to be told. And I think that's the pathway and where we should be going, and where I think we are heading at the moment. So yeah, that's what I think the future of storytelling is going to look like from a lens of like just being from the community and stuff like that, you know.
AI is playing a big part in it as well. I did go to an event where it was really for...
Talk to me about AI, man.
Yeah, for filmmakers. But they've all just created like films and visuals with AI. And it was almost like they've all come together and created their own award show for it. Okay. So it's quite interesting to...
I've got like... So my point of view on AI is that like AI is here. It's going to continue to get better. It's really helpful. But I do think that AI lacks the tools that we have as humans, which is like the intricacies of emotion. Like there's finer details of like what we do. I feel like at the moment AI is input, question, output, design, or answer, right? But it couldn't tell you the workings of that. And as artists, as creatives, the work is in the process. The art is actually in the process. Like we get to what you see is the end product, but there is lived experience. There's like moments of clarity. There's the fogginess of not knowing what you're doing. There's the delusion that you have to continue to strive through in order to get to the end goal. And that is something that can't be replicated by technology. Obviously you're going to get to a point where you can like input, I need this to look like this, or I need this to feel like this, but there's something I feel that we have inherently, which is obviously all of our intricacies and all of our flaws that make us feel. And I feel like the stories that we tell are always in the finer details of life. And that's where I think like it's important for us not to forget when it comes to like creating stories and telling stories, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons why I didn't ask you about your career, because for me, I think the questions or the conversation that we've been having will give people an insight to what you do.
Yeah.
And they don't need to know where you've worked and all that kind of stuff. But they just need to know what you've done and what you're doing and what you're creating. And I think it's been quite insightful, especially for myself as well.
Definitely.
And it's been quite good. And I'm hoping that everyone obviously has been taking notes. Just a few more questions away from kind of like question structure that we've gone through.
Okay.
Do you have a question for me?
I do have a question for you, man. So obviously you've gone through, and this is just based off our conversation, you've gone through that whole advertising like experience. You're now putting on events, you're also putting on for your community. How do you stay, number one, level-headed, but also how do you also stay motivated to continue to do those things? I feel like I have a feeling of what you're gonna say, but I'll be really interested to know like how you feel in those times, like when you get setbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So obviously at the time when I did the advertising stuff, obviously that was a bit, I was younger then, so I didn't really know a lot of what I know now. I didn't have leadership, obviously, you know, Boss Toby. I didn't have any of someone like that in my life at all. It was just myself, my sisters, my mum, and then my friends that I used to hang around with, smoke, do all sorts. Nothing was there to kind of guide me. And for me, it was always a case of like, I just thought to myself, okay, cool, this didn't work out. Fell down, what's the next one? Tried to go into fashion. Okay, cool, great, doesn't work. But I think what I do now that's different from then was that with what I do now, I never had the motivation to start it.
Right.
It was never a motivation. It was more of like a purpose, a calling, to be like, you know what, this is your space to take, not to take in sense of like a personal thing, but this is your space to really help people with what you have in your hands at that moment, which was for me basketball.
Right.
And obviously with basketball, it was also, okay, cool. When I was younger, I couldn't play indoors because I didn't have a lot of money to be paying to play indoors. And if I did pay, it was an issue because I'm paying with the older lot. They might not put me on their team, so I've paid my money, but I might not play. I might just play like 10 minutes. So why don't I just eradicate those two things and actually create that for guys that are going through the same thing? And then you realize that pretty much the whole community is going through that. And then that has just evolved over time. So I just allowed myself to just kind of be led and just kind of not go with the flow, but still being a creator, but still just as things presents itself, I'm analyzing and I'm taking it on. So like 2023, we didn't have a lot of money coming in because initially what we were doing before was doing cardboard sales. Family and friends would maybe donate and we'll book the court. But in 2023, that wasn't there. So that's where I started learning how to engage more in different places. That's why the podcast started. That's why we started doing sports media, different events to bring people in the community, going to the parks and doing media for games and stuff like that, just to give people more visibility and for us to still be active. And that's where, from the podcast, now understanding, oh yeah, I can now apply for grants. And then because of the conversation I've had with people, and then just building up from there, and then from doing the grants, okay, now brand partnerships, build a brand partnership. Oh yeah, I can go into unis and do media for them. And then obviously like just kept gradually building over time, and that's what we've been doing since. One
thing that really, like, we spoke off camera and off mic before we came in here, and I asked you like what experience did you have of this before you started it, and you said none. And I really love that, because it shows that you're a person who's able to, you know, learn on the fly and not be afraid to get your hands dirty or like figure something out. I guess my next question would be, what's the biggest takeaway so far on your journey that you've learned that you feel like has been super helpful for you as you continue moving forward?
Consistency over perfection. Yeah, like for me, that's where I could sum it up. I could say so much more.
Yeah,
but consistency over perfection. I think just staying consistent, and you're gonna fail doing that consistency. You're gonna do well doing that consistency. You're gonna be, certain things are gonna happen to you. People are not gonna want to speak to you. You're gonna lose people. You're gonna gain people, but you're consistent in what you're doing constantly. You're not perfect. Like I've done episodes here where I'll go home and the sound is mash up. It doesn't mean that I'm not panicking. I'm like, okay, cool, it happens. Yeah. Let's keep going. But that consistency over perfection. Eventually, perfection is a process as well. Eventually, when you get to that perfection, there's still another level of perfection that you need to get to.
Exactly.
For me, it's always been that, and always making sure that everything I do is very selfless and it's always benefiting people. That's the biggest thing as well for me.
That's dope. That's really dope, bro.
Yeah. Any more?
Nah, man. Nah, that's cool.
Okay, so not my last question, but kind of like my last question. Who would you like to see on this podcast or invite onto this podcast?
Oh, beyond the athlete. Who would I want to see on here, man? That's a really good question, you know. That's a really good question, and I didn't think about this beforehand. So it is something that I'm actually currently searching my brain and database for to see who would be interesting to talk to. Do you know who would be a really amazing guest on here? My brother Yafu Downs.
Who's he?
Yafu Downs was we were on a podcast together.
Okay, cool.
Very close friend of mine. We met each other at Nike Town, London.
Okay. Is he the one that works in Amsterdam?
He works in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I won't say what company he works for.
Yeah.
But he's very knowledgeable. He's responsible for a lot of things that are moving in culture, and he's a person that knows how to disseminate information in a way that I feel would be super beneficial for people that listen to and watch your podcast. He's amazing. Stephen, love to see Stephen on here. Yeah. Obviously,
even though he's so busy, he responds back sometimes, but every time it's to do with like business, I don't hear from him. But it's calm though.
Definitely Stephen. Probably Kwame as well, man. Like basically my podcast brothers. I'd love to see them on a one-to-one situation in front of me. I mean, ours has been on here already, and then if I could think of anyone else that I would love to see on here, from like an athlete to business or athlete beyond perspective. Let me think. If you could get this lady on here, Jennifer Simmons, if you can get Jenny Simmons on this table, wow, that's a great interview, man. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Jenny.
Funny enough, this season, I actually wanted it to be predominantly women. We've had a few guys already, but I actually wanted it to be predominantly women. And we do have some women that are going to be coming on.
Amazing.
People I'm trying to get Chloe Kelly.
Okay, that'll be dope. I think
that'll be quite a good conversation. Another lady called Jordan Mitchell, who runs a sports organization as well. The Serena Wagman as well.
Okay.
So
what the
England coach?
Manager.
So
that'd be cold, bro. I actually likes Burna Boy.
Is it?
Yeah, like she really loves Burna Boy. Like
that'd be dope.
That's crazy. And also Stefan Dixon, if you can get them. Literally, basically, I really want to hear my friends' perspective and how they approach your questions, because this is a really dope setting. It's a really cool way to just like talk through things that we feel and understand and get to the core of like our crafts in some way. Do you know what I mean? In a way that's beneficial to other people.
If you hear my first few episodes, the ones I recorded that I never released,
hey man, we all got some.
The kind of questions I was asking,
we all got
very very like basic
episodes, songs, films, ideas, notes. There's loads of them, bro. But you know what? You had to do the reps.
Exactly.
We all got to do the reps,
Exactly.
We all got to do the reps.
Exactly. But thank you very much for
it's
this
a pleasure,
episode.
man.
It's been good. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been interesting. It's been exciting. It's been insightful. It's just family having a conversation, and we're just
Facts.
bringing you guys into it.
Facts.
Like I always say, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to show love. Comment as well. Let us know what you guys think. We're always looking at feedback to be better, to improve our content for you guys as well. And yeah, man, like we'll hope to see you guys in the next episode. And God bless. Take care. And thank you to Kieran.
Thank you, man.
For being on the podcast
Thank you,
today. And this is Coach David. I'll take care. Peace.